Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and get started with our luncheon. I want to welcome everybody out to our June Chamber Luncheon. We've got a huge crowd today. That's exciting. We've got lots of announcements today, and we're going to go ahead and get started with our luncheon. First and foremost, I'd like to ask Pastor Darby Finnison from East Somerset Baptist Church to please come forward and bless today's meal.
All right, thanks. Let's pray. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for another day, all the blessings that we've already enjoyed, just for your goodness in our lives. We ask you to bless the food that we're partaking of for the nourishment of our bodies. Lord, bless the proceedings today. All that we do, Lord, we pray that it will just bring honor and glory to you. Lord, we pray your blessings upon the families, the businesses that are represented here, and Lord, on our speaker today, as she travels personally, professionally, we pray that you'll bless and protect and provide for her. We, Lord, ask for the grace to live today in a way that will please you and pray that as we do, that you will bless in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, brother. I had the other 20 minutes.
You skipped it? You skipped the program. That was the Cliff Notes version. Huh? You going to hang around? You have lunch with us? Absolutely. Good. Thank you. Thank you very much, Pastor Finnison. We sure appreciate that. A few announcements that we have today. We've got a lot of information tables here with us. This is a free service that we provide for our members. If you would like to come out and set up a table and get a little extra visibility for your business or your organization, this is a wonderful way to do it. There's no charge. We just take them on a first-come, first-served basis. And I'd like to recognize all of the info tables that are here today. We have Help the Homeless, Somerset, Citizens Bank, Somerset 106 WTLO Radio, The Traveling Soul, Watershed Arts Alliance, Lake Cumberland Training Consortium, Somerset Junior Women's Club, Readers to Leaders Storybook Trail, Perennial Women's Wellness, Somerset Excursions, Mandarin Health, Minuteman Press, Affordable Medical Weight Loss Centers of Kentucky, Science Hill FBLA, the Chalet Gourmet Restaurant, Volunteers of America, Children's Miracle Network, and Honestly Clean. Let's all give them a big round of applause. We've got a few announcements as well. First of all, I want to thank our sponsors of today's luncheon. We've got First and Farmers National Bank, Prairie Farms Dairy. Prairie Farms has brought ice cream out. I think it's National Dairy Month, so perfect combination there. They've also got a new iced coffee drink, so make sure to go try those and let them know what you think. I think they're pretty darn good. So big thanks to them. And also want to thank First and Farmers just for the wonderful centerpieces that we see out there. My wife definitely didn't pressure me at all to mention that. But I definitely want to thank them for being our sponsor today. So thank them very much. Also, we have some flyers on your tables about it's a non-luncheon luncheon is what it's going to be. So, our luncheons are on the first Tuesday of every month. Our next luncheon, we're going to be having United States Senator Mitch McConnell with us, and he's going to be here on Wednesday, June 26th. So just a few weeks away. I'm expecting a big crowd for that. So Wednesday, June 26th, big thanks to Kinetic by Windstream for sponsoring that. Again, Senator McConnell will be with us on Wednesday, June 26th. The last thing I want to talk about is a project that we started 4 years ago, and we just concluded our 4th annual Operation Beautification Community Cleanup. So one thing that I always talk about, and I ask these questions a lot of times, is what happens if you go to Sarasota or Hilton Head or Charleston, South Carolina? What do you see in those tourism towns? You don't see trash. That's one thing you just don't see. They're incredibly clean. So when Matt Ford, who's with us here today, I see Matt back there right now, when he was president just a few short years ago, Matt had an initiative that he wanted to put into place called Operation Beautification. And it was a chance for us to work with our school system and our clubs and our booster organizations to incentivize them to to go out and actually pay them to go out and pick up trash. So every one of these booster organizations, I'm sure if you have kids, you know how this goes. We're selling cookie dough and pizza kits and 25 other things to raise money for jerseys and fuel for buses and, admission costs for tournaments and things of that nature. So this was a way for them to come out, teach them some responsibility about cleaning up our community, keeping it clean, and at the same time working with the Pulaski County Recycling organization that we have. Is Danny here? Is Danny Maston here? I know I invited. There he is. Danny Maston over at the Pulaski County Recycling Center. We partnered with them on this 4 years ago, and we wanted to see how it would go. So we took individual donations from our community to pay for this, and we had a great turnout. And the next year, school clubs and booster organizations beat my door down 6 months in advance wanting to be a part of this, because we actually paid them $150 a mile to go out and pick up trash. I mean, that's quite a bit of money if you think about it for a booster organization to go out. So we let them pick up to 3 miles of garbage, and a lot of them would do that. So that's quite a bit of money that they were able to raise for just going out and cleaning up roadways. So Danny Maston, being the garbage guru here in our community. Garbage guru, that might stick after today, Danny. I like that. Danny knows where every piece of trash is, on every back road from Keno to Blue John to Jabez. He knows where it's at. And he put these kids out there in some tough areas where the trash is. So we're not putting them in clean, nice, and tidy areas. I mean, we're making them earn that money. And we went out there, and we've been doing this for 4 years now, and I want to go over the numbers from this year and our totals because they're pretty darn impressive. So this year, we had 27 local, I would call them civic organizations, so school groups that participated. We had a total of 493 volunteers, and we collected 770 bags of trash in one day off 95 miles of Pulaski County roadway. So to put into perspective our numbers for 4 years, our totals, we've had over 1,700 volunteers collect almost 3,000 bags of trash off 309 miles of Pulaski County roadway. And we've been able to give out $56,850 to local school groups and youth organizations. So I want to give a big hand of applause to Danny and Matt Ford. I know that I'm a little biased, but I think this is the single best initiative in our community for picking up trash, and what a great way to give back to these organizations to help them out a little bit too. So if you've been a donor, if you're a business who has donated to this, a big thank you to you as well, because it would not be possible to do this without you. We actually raised enough money this year. We actually got money from Waste Connections. Obviously, they have a little bit of skin in the game on us picking up 770 bags of trash. We have enough money left over that we should be able to do another fall cleanup this year to only add to our numbers that we had here in the spring. So we've come a long way from year one. I know Chris Girdler has worked with us in SPEDA. He's challenged us every step of the way to go out and be a leader on this, and I know he's done the same thing. So there's a lot of people that need to be thanked, but out of all the things the Chamber does, I'm very proud of this initiative because, I always say, if we didn't litter, this is something we could just get rid of. We wouldn't even have to do this. But since we have litter, hopefully we're teaching some civic responsibility to that next generation, and at the same time, we're putting our best foot forward as a community by having it look very clean and nice right before tourism season. So just wanted to go through those numbers with you because they're pretty impressive. Also, before I turn the mic over, we have one other project. Have you got that teed up, Crystal? So Pulaski County High School asked me very nicely. They have a student-ran initiative that they've put together called the Pulaski County High School Kindness Project. And it's a pretty neat project where they've interviewed several people and they've talked about the importance of kindness here in our community because sometimes we get away from that, don't we? We always look on Facebook and there's somebody yelling about you about something. They're coming in your front door, your office, and they're saying negative things. So, the Kindness Project has been set up kind of to look at the best side of ourselves, if you will. So I'd love to play this video that was produced and put together, and every bit of this from Pulaski County High School students.
Kindness is being good to others.
Kindness is compassion.
Kindness means to me is helping others.
Kindness to me is being caring and compassionate, not just towards your teachers, but also towards your fellow students.
Hello, I'm Patrick Richardson, Superintendent of Pulaski County Schools. Character may be the single most important thing that leads to success. In Pulaski County Schools, we've been focusing on character education for more than 20 years. Character is a reflection of the person that you are, and people base their interactions with you based off of your character. Success builds on character, and your character is the legacy that you leave behind with others forever.
Kindness to me is being a normal human being and not acting like a jerk to people.
Charity.
Benevolence. Patience.
Comforting.
Grace.
Consideration.
Encouragement.
Understanding.
Compassion.
Courtesy.
Mercy. Integrity.
Generosity.
Value.
Forgiveness. Supporting.
Gentleness.
Tenderness.
Softness. Thoughtfulness.
Helpfulness.
Kindness to me is action. It's a verb. It's about serving others and putting others' needs first. And so an act of kindness is going to be selfless, and it's going to find a way to help somebody. I think we should all exhibit kindness every time we can.
To me, kindness means benefiting others and going out of your way to do it.
Kindness to me means treating others like you want to be treated.
Kindness is making sure that everybody realizes they matter to somebody else.
Being kind is treating others how you want to be treated. Much fun. I'm just so excited. Oh, hey, Rayleigh, come here. Have you heard about what's happening on Sunday?
Kindness to me means giving or doing some of the smallest gestures and making someone's day.
I think kindness is, just being respectful to others and stuff.
Kindness is like being cool and chill, like being considerate.
Kindness to me means compassion and care for others.
And for me, kindness is helping our community make it a better place.
Kindness to me means when you are willing to help someone else in our community and you do not expect anything in return while knowing no one else is watching.
Kindness is being nice even if people think they don't deserve it.
Making someone's day each and every day.
Kindness to me is thinking of everybody else in every situation to make sure nobody's left out.
I think of kindness when I think of doing something for someone without expecting anything in return or any recognition for what you've done.
And kindness to me is thinking of others before thinking of yourself.
Every day we have all kinds of things going on, whether we're a student, a teacher, whatever our role is, even in the community. It's like we have a big to-do list every day. But do we ever stop and think about how we're being kind or how we're treating other people? The most important thing we can do every day is to show kindness. You have an opportunity every day to impact somebody, whether you know it or not. Your kind words may lead to somebody having a much better day who hasn't been having a great day, and you may not even know it. So I would encourage you to take time every day out to think about the impact you're making on the people around you. We hope you'll join us for the Kindness Challenge.
No act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted.
I saved hundreds with Liberty Mutual.
And you can save hundreds from Liberty Mutual. Wasn't that a fun project that they did? I love that. Sometimes it takes a kid to resonate with an adult sometimes. Okay, so we have two for Tuesdays. Then I'm going to turn the program over to my boss. So our first two for Tuesday today from Help the Homeless, Miss Jessica Lee. Jessica, I see you over there. So Jessica's going to come up and tell us a little bit more about our Help the Homeless, which is doing some great work here in our community.
Good afternoon, chamber members. Speaking of action and kindness, Help the Homeless Somerset is a grassroots 501c3 nonprofit charity. We are volunteer ran and we are community funded. What we do is look for that hand up, long-term solutions. We're very big on helping people find employment and educational opportunities. We've been very successful with that. We help shuttle people off the streets into rehab facilities, homeless shelters, sober livings. We help people get their IDs. We have our shower trailer that allows people to shower in order to get or retain employment. We do clothing. We have a voluntary case manager on site or access to her 7 days a week. Mental health. We've been very successful in helping the children, the elderly, veterans, working poor. I want to give a shout out to Pulaski County government. They recently did a community update on the need to address homelessness in Pulaski County. The numbers are devastating. We see it daily. We have requests all day long, up into the night, of people needing housing. And so our initiative is to address those needs in a long-term manner. We assist 911, Somerset Police Department, Burnside Police, Sheriff's Office, DCBS, local nonprofits, local rehabs, schools, private businesses. We'd appreciate your support. Currently, our fundraiser is 100 for 100, where we ask local entities to give us $100 a month to be part of the help. We've changed a whole lot of lives in a short amount of time. So we really appreciate you all and appreciate the time today. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Jessica. We appreciate everything you're doing. Our next two for Tuesday, our last two for Tuesday, Mr. Daniel Cheshire. I think everybody knows Dan from probably Dairy Queen, but he's here today to talk about the Children's Miracle Network.
Thank you, Bobby. I am with Dairy Queen, Dan Cheshire. Going to talk to you a little bit today about the Children's Miracle Network, specifically UK Children's Hospital. So I had hoped to introduce a young man by the name of Case today. He was a miracle child last year, and Case wasn't supposed to make it. He wasn't supposed to live. He had a small airway, and I'd hoped that he was here today so that you all could meet him. But Case has made a miraculous recovery. This year, after facing adversity for his whole life, he is going to be participating in football camp. So that's a huge accomplishment by Case. But UK Children's Hospital is our local CMN hospital. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how that you can help us with such a worthy cause like the UK Children's Hospital. First thing that you will notice, on your tables there are miracle balloons. Those are for purchase at the table. And I like to say this is a little bit of DQ magic. So if you give me $1, I can magically turn it into $2 with the coupons. So there's $1 off a Stack Burger, $1 off a Blizzard, but I can take your $1 and make it $2. Also, if you're very generous, I can take your $3 and make it $5. Same coupons before, but you get $3 off a cake. So if you all feel compelled, there are miracle balloons on your table. Take them, write your name on them, take the coupons off, give them away, use them, whatever you'd like to do. And then at the back table, wave over there, we've got some people back there. At the back table, you can deposit your $1 or $2 in there. So that's the first thing. We will be selling those at Dairy Queen, both of our stores, all of our stores, 2 locally. We'll be selling those until July the 25th. The next thing that you can do, and we'll switch a slide there. Here's a little information about what Dairy Queens have done in the state of Kentucky. One notable thing on this thing is that there are over 2,000 kids annually from Pulaski County that receive some type of benefit from our UK Children's Hospital. So that's a huge number. Probably none of you realize that, but over 2,000 kids annually get some benefit from UK Children's Hospital. The next, maybe one of the most important things, and we can go to the next one, is Miracle Treat Day, in which we give 100% of all the proceeds to the UK Children's Hospital. That is 100% of all the proceeds. So there's no administrative fees. There's nothing like that. You can do a pre-order, and that's our goal this year, is to get a huge amount of pre-orders. There's a little QR code there that you can hit with your phone. If you miss it on the screen, there's also a little flyer on your tables, but we'd love for you to reward all of your employees, reward all that on Miracle Treat Day so that we can make a huge donation to the UK Children's Hospital, which is such a worthy cause. Thank you all for your time. I appreciate it. And thanks to First and Farmers and Prairie Farms today for sponsoring. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dan. Wouldn't it be awesome if every one of those miracle balloons that are on those tables, we didn't have to pick those up and you all took them with you today? What a great cause. So I hope you all will consider helping Dan out. He does a wonderful job. Okay, you're done talking to me. I'm going to turn things over to my boss, president of the chamber this year, Lisa Phelps.
It is my pleasure to call our June Chamber Luncheon meeting to order. I would like to welcome our guests, our public officials, and our members. And look around, what a great turnout today of our community. So our public officials in attendance, please let me know if I overlook someone. We have County Judge Executive Marshall Todd, Somerset Mayor Alan Keck. We have Judge B.J. Hardy, and representing Senator McConnell's office, Donna McClure. We appreciate and thank you for supporting our business community. We'd also like to recognize our sponsors. They are listed on the wall behind me as well as on your table. We want to thank our world-class sponsors, our Chairman Circle sponsors, and our Ambassador Circle sponsors for their generous support. We would like to thank Laura Glover and Lonnie Lawson, the Center for Rural Development, for this wonderful venue, and Sandy and Sassy Spoons Catering for the delicious meal they've provided today, and to Coca-Cola Bottling of Somerset and Pepsi-Cola Bottling of Somerset for supplying the drinks, as well as Prairie Farms for the ice cream and their iced coffee. Okay. I want to thank Ace and John Blake for working in our community to add new members this month. I'd like to recognize those. If you are in attendance, if you'd please stand to be recognized. We have Art Coverings and Restoration, Matt Hart. Bigfoot Barbecue of Kentucky, Chris and Robin Waters. Durbin's Bait and Tackle, Lonnie Durbin. Dynamic Entertainment, Eric Pickup and B.J. Burnett. Finn Coat Incorporated, David Cobbler. One Up Wigs, Chrissy Refner. Proactive Spine Care, Brandon Goodpaster. Pulaski County Circuit Clerk's Office, Janice Smith. The Sorrento's Bar and Grill, Chelsea Luna. The Law Office of Shelby J. Crawford. The Stanford Inn at Wilderness Road, Allison Cross. The Gracious Table, Janice Johnson and Ella Grace Moe. The Urban Stillhouse, Chris Stevens. And Woe Windows, Walker Higgins. Thank you all for your new membership and joining the chamber. I'd like to now recognize our ambassadors. They provide an anchor of support to making our small staff successful. If you are an ambassador, would you please stand? Okay. One ambassador stood out this month, and our ambassador of the month is Miranda Lyons with Prosperity Real Estate Group, powered by Keller Williams Commonwealth. Again, I'd like to thank our corporate sponsors today, First and Farmers Bank and Prairie Farms Dairy, for sponsoring our luncheon today. They have both graciously given their time to the speaker. So I would now like to introduce our speaker, Kentucky Lieutenant Governor Jacqueline Coleman. Jacqueline Coleman is the 58th Lieutenant Governor of Kentucky. Public service is a way of life for Jacqueline and her family. She was raised on a farm in Burgin, where her family owned a small business for 5 generations. After graduating from Mercer County High School, Jacqueline attended Center College, where she majored in history and secondary education and played on the basketball team. Jacqueline earned her master's degree in political science from the University of Louisville and served on the women's basketball coaching staff. As a high school basketball coach, she appeared in the 2017 KHSAA Sweet 16 and was named Regional Coach of the Year in 2015. As the state's highest elected teacher, Jacqueline is vocal and passionate advocate for public education. She believes education is the key to providing Kentuckians opportunities for transformational change that can create new cycles of success. She began her career as a high school civics teacher in her hometown at Burgin High School. Jacqueline also taught at East Jessamine High School and most recently served as an assistant principal at Nelson County High School. She is currently completing a doctorate in the educational leadership at the University of Kentucky. Jacqueline remains focused on the challenges Kentucky family faces. During her first term, she led the charge to waive the testing fee for adults earning their GED. Since then, more than 8,100 Kentuckians have earned a GED and changed their trajectory of their family's future. She is a wife to Chris, a mom to Evelyn, adopted mom to Emma, and a bonus mom to Will and Nate. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Kentucky Lieutenant Governor Jacqueline Coleman.
Thank you so much. You're very welcome. Thank you. Of course. Oh, thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. That is so kind of you. It is an honor to be here with you today, and I pulled in the parking lot and thought, if you're going to rob a bank in Somerset, today might be the day. I'm pretty sure everybody's here, so thank you so much for being here. Thank you for what you do every day, and thank you for inviting me to be a part of this. I spent most of my time, whenever I'm in Somerset and Pulaski County, in all the gyms in the high schools. I grew up playing basketball in Mercer County, and also coached in the 12th region. So I've spent a lot of time in these basketball gyms. But it's great to be here with you as community leaders in the Chamber of Commerce today. So I'm going to start off with a little story, and it has to do with me as a teacher. About 12 years ago, I was in my classroom, and it was passing time, so all the students were in the hallways, 1,100 students in the hallways. And I had a young woman walk into my classroom and ask me for a basketball schedule. And so I gave it to her, and I didn't think anything else about it until later that afternoon when the guidance counselor came to my classroom. She said, "Hey, I need to tell you about a girl that enrolled today, and she asked about basketball." I said, "Oh, I've already met her. I gave her a schedule. We're good." And she said, "Well, you might want to hear this." I said, "Okay." She said, her enrollment record, kindergarten through 8th grade, was 2.5 pages long. And just for, if you don't know what an enrollment record looks like, every school you go to is one line, not the years that you go there. So what that told me is she had been in and out of a whole lot of different places. And then she said, and the family members that were with her to enroll her today were under the influence. And I thought, oh, wow. And I'm embarrassed to say this, but the first thought that came to my mind was, well, I guess she won't be here very long, then will she? So a couple weeks later, my husband and I are out, and my phone rings. I normally don't answer numbers I don't know. I surely don't answer numbers I don't know now, but didn't really before either. But I did, and it was this young woman, and she says, "Coach, I don't have anywhere to go." And I said, "What do you mean you don't have anywhere to go?" And she said, "Well, my mom's in trouble again." So I started asking what I thought were logical questions, like, "Okay, well, where's your dad?" "Well, I don't know my dad." "Well, who have you been with?" "Well, I've been living with my aunt and sometimes my grandma, but they're really tired of taking me to school every day." And I thought, oh, wow, okay. Sit tight, we're on our way. So Chris and I get in the car, and as we're putting on our seatbelts, I looked at him and I said, "Now you know what's about to happen, right?" And he said he did. Chris was also a basketball coach. He was the boys' basketball coach at East, and I was the girls. And before you say it, that is not cute, okay? It's just not. A lot of arguments over gym time from the two head coaches. So we went and we picked her up, and she came out of the house with a bag, like a duffel bag of clothes, and she got in the back of our car. And when I tell you all that I had met her one time to give her that basketball schedule before she got in the back of my car, I'm not joking. I did not know this young woman. She was brand new to our school. And she moved into our home and became part of our family, with us not really knowing what was next or what was around the corner. How long would this be? What would the circumstances be, right? A lot of unanswered questions. And when I tell you that she was a 14-year-old redheaded teenage girl who didn't have a lot of discipline, never had a lot of accountability. People weren't, holding her to high standards, I guess you could say. And she moves in with 2 basketball coaches. To say it was like oil and water at first is probably an understatement. And I will tell you that the challenges that we saw with her were greater than I could have ever imagined. I have to credit my husband with figuring this part out. He was sitting with her at the kitchen table one night doing homework, and he came in the living room and he said, "Jacqueline, she can't read." I said, "What do you mean she can't read? She's a freshman in high school. Of course she can read." He said, "I promise you she can't." And sure enough, she couldn't. Because even when she was enrolled in school, she probably wasn't actually there. And so I thought, we have got our work cut out for us. But this young woman who was about as troubled as you could be made it really difficult in a lot of circumstances to figure out how to get from point A to point B, as you might imagine. But she had this light about her. It was like this it factor that if she walked into a room, it was like everyone was just kind of drawn to her. even though she was a mess at times, right? She just kind of had that in her. And I feel like sometimes there are people in this world that see that in others that maybe other people have missed. And I kept thinking, maybe that's what this is. And I will tell you that the first 2 years were really hard. I mean, really hard. There was one pivotal moment, though, when I think we finally got on the same page. And it was the night when she got in trouble. And I am the parent that is the I'm very disappointed in you parent, right? Chris is not. Chris talks at a much higher level than I do. And so we had a very quiet car ride home from her getting in trouble. She immediately went to her room and shut her door. And I did not sleep one wink that night because I was convinced she was going to leave. I thought there is no chance that this girl who has been able to rip and run and do whatever she wants to do with no accountability and no boundaries is going to stay. I just can't imagine that this is going to continue. So we get up the next morning and we go to church. It was even awkward for Jesus while we were there. We come home, not a word has been spoken. We walk in the living room and I sit down, and in she walks and she sits down beside me and she lays her head in my lap and she starts crying. And she said, I was so afraid you were going to kick me out. And so for the first time, I realized we were both afraid of the same thing. And that was really a turning point in our relationship. And as she continued through high school, I could start to see her become the young woman that I always thought she could be. But you got to understand, you're working against a clock, right? I mean, we've got 4 years. I kept thinking, I think she can play college basketball, but I don't know. And even if she can, could she get the grades to stay on the team? There's a lot of ifs and what ifs going on here. But I'm going to tell you what happened. Her teachers showed up every morning before school, and so did she. And her teacher stayed after school, and so did she. There were games where the JV team would be playing, and I would look in the stands, and she would be sitting with one of her teachers in the stands in her uniform with a book in their lap. And for the first time in this young woman's life, she had a village of people who made her believe that she could do it, who made her understand that there were opportunities out there, that there was something bigger than what she was seeing every single day in her life. Because you can't catch a kid up that can't read in high school between the hours of 8 and 3. It just doesn't work that way. It takes extra effort, and it takes extraordinary people. And I'm very lucky that my colleagues and my friends were extraordinary. And they were exactly what Emma needed at this moment in her life. And so, because of all of that work, because of everything that she did to get to where she wanted to be, she became the first person in her biological family to graduate from high school. And she graduated with honors. That freshman that couldn't read graduated high school with honors. That was not my goal. That was her goal. And because she got the grades that she needed, she could stay on the basketball floor. She broke every single basketball record, boys and girls, in our entire school's history, and signed a Division I basketball scholarship to play at Texas A&M at Corpus Christi. Yeah. She went on to have an amazing college career. She was on the first team that ever made it to the NCAA tournament with them. And after she graduated from college, and she did graduate from college, she went overseas and played professional basketball for a season in Europe. Came home, decided she wanted to be a nurse, and has finished nursing school and is now working as an RN. And that was her way of giving back to kids and families in her community that she believed that she was best suited for. And we won our election in November of 2019. We were inaugurated in December, and at the end of that month, right before Christmas, we made our adoption official, and Emma officially became Emma Coleman O'Brien. And I always told her, I don't need that. You're my daughter, you're our family, and that you always have been, and it doesn't matter what paper says, but if this is something that you're interested in doing, then we'll do it. So we made it happen. And about 6 weeks later, I had a baby. So I now have a 26-year-old and a 4-year-old. And they are the best of friends, let me tell you. But I tell you the story about Emma because it was my opportunity as a teacher to see firsthand the importance of pouring into the next generation of Kentuckians. Because I always say, and it's true, the future of Kentucky's economy is sitting in our classrooms today. So when we think about your future workforce, the future entrepreneurs and small business owners in this community, we have to make sure, and let me tell you, you know this, there are Emmas in every school building across Kentucky. This is not a unique story, guys. It's not. But we have to make sure that all of the Emmas out there don't go on to become a statistic, that they don't repeat the cycle that they've been in for so long. Otherwise, our communities and our Commonwealth are never going to reach its full potential unless our kids do. And so when I think about building a better Kentucky for everybody, and I think about all of the things that the governor and I talk about as we travel this state, all I see is that kid that walked in my classroom completely lost 12 years ago. And all she needed was a little bit of hope and maybe a little push and a village of people who believed in her. And that's what we have the opportunity to do and be every single day. The governor's really focused on economic development and job creation in Kentucky, and that is so important. But that's the finish line. The foundation of that happens in our schools and our training centers every single day to help get people ready for those opportunities that we're trying to build for every single person and every single community. And through our administration, we have seen the creation of over 52,000 new jobs across Kentucky and $30 billion worth of investments all across Kentucky. That puts us at number 3 in the country in economic development. Little old Kentucky. But my favorite number is that we are number 2 in the nation in rural job creation. Because I grew up in Burgin. 4 of you have heard of it. And we have 1,000 people in a 4-way stop, and that's it. And so when I tell you I know what it felt like when I looked around and saw communities that were getting opportunities that we weren't, and I kept wondering, when is that going to come to my hometown? We're committed to making sure that nobody feels that way, that we continue to bring jobs, whether it's 10 or whether it's 5,000, to communities every single day, because that's where the opportunity lies. We don't want our kids to have to leave home because they don't have opportunity in their community or their region or this state. We want to make sure that right here in their backyard, they have every opportunity that we can imagine, because our job is not to tell our kids what to do. It's to make sure that we open every door and help them to find the path that's right for them. And so we're committed to doing that here in Kentucky. And as we have more opportunity than we've ever seen, not just in the public sector, but in the private sector, with businesses that are flocking to Kentucky. When we landed the Ford deal, 5,000 new jobs in Glendale that has 2 stop signs and 1 restaurant. It's going to grow a little bit, I think. All of a sudden, we have businesses now that they want to set up shop closer. We're now trying to bring supply chains closer to the center so that we can make sure that our businesses have all the resources they need to continue to grow and thrive and expand and create new jobs for Kentuckians, for Kentucky families. And as these new businesses come and as people show interest in Kentucky, it's really exciting, but I'm not surprised. I just left Corbin, where we opened a PACE center, and the folks that opened it were from out of state. They said, we've opened PACE centers across this country, and we've never felt as warm and welcome and have as many supportive people as we've seen in this community. And I said, I'm not surprised. That's who we are. You look at after the floods, the people that showed up to help. After the tornadoes, the people that showed up to help. And you know the words that I never heard? Democrat, Republican, liberal, conservative. It was Kentuckians showing up for each other. And that's exactly how I feel about building this economy and building it for the next generation of Kentuckians, because nothing I've talked about today has anything to do with political party. And I know I'm here as your lieutenant governor, but that doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to Governor Beshear. We're in this to build a better Kentucky, and I know that it starts with our youngest Kentuckians, and I know that we can do it in every community because I've seen it happen day in and day out. And we're not there yet, but every day we'll continue to make strides until we do get there. And if we do it right, we can take the few years of progress that we've seen and turn it into decades of prosperity. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacqueline, and I would like to present you on behalf of the Chamber, the Friend of the Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
If you will be getting your tickets out for the door prizes. I will remind you that on June the 26th, here at the center at noon, we will have Senator McConnell. And then our next chamber luncheon is July the 2nd. We will have a speaker with Kentucky Humanities Council, Daniel Boone, portrayed by actor Kevin Hardesty. So if you got your tickets, our first door prize, 20 free personalized notepads from M&W Printing. The number is 603545. Our next door prize is a $20 RB dry cleaner certificate, 603320. 603320. Buffalo Wings and Rings, $25 gift card. 603479. Our Hardy South gift card, $20. 603324. 603324. $100 gift card from the Chalet, and that is from First and Farmers National Bank, 603317. From Prairie Farms Dairy, we have some Prairie Farms swag, and that is 603355. Center back. Our last store prize is from Dairy Queen of Somerset, free Blizzard for a year, and a $3 balloon. That is 603-557. So as we close today, I will ask Matt Washman with First and Farmers National Bank to lead our pledge.